What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to
the
Sit Down Sports Edition. I'm losing track here. And now we're here week 3. So Andrew and I, you know Andrew, he's a freak of fire. He'll be with us every time most likely. So we're gonna go over week 3, get some of our takeaways.
Yep.
Not as many injuries, so that's good.
Yes.
That's good. So I mean, there wasn't many.
I can't say the same for the Broncos, but
yeah,
we'll get there.
Then we got some breaking. Did you hear about Tennessee?
Yeah, with the COVID cases.
Oof,
they got 8 COVID cases. Tennessee suspended all team activity in person until Saturday, so they were going to run on one day.
They're probably going to postpone the game.
Practice.
The way that it's working out for it's the Pittsburgh Steelers and Tennessee Titans are supposed to play. So they're probably going to have to postpone that game, which means that they're probably both going to have to take their bye week this week. And Tennessee is supposed to have their bye week on week 8. Oh no. Pittsburgh was supposed to have their bye week, I think, on week 8, but what they're going to do is they're going to end up playing Pittsburgh, or they're going to play Tennessee either week 7 or week 8 to kind of blend it all together.
So what do they have the same bye week?
No, they didn't have the same bye week, but they were supposed to play each other at 2 different times. They were supposed to play each other twice this year, I think.
Titans and Steelers don't play each other twice.
Well, then one of them had a bye week in week 7 or 8.
They got to flip some games.
Yeah, it had to. So
we'll see what happens. And then Minnesota had to suspend team activity for a bit until they get some negative COVID cases back, which they said that they did, which is good to hear.
So that was my biggest question. It was, what's going to happen to the Vikings now? How long are they going to have to postpone their stuff?
It depends. I mean, if they come back no COVID cases, then it's like, all right, great. The people who had COVID didn't come in contact with anybody. Could have just been team personnel.
Right, and then you have to think, where did it even come from? Was it like a player's kid that went to school and had it and came back? It's so hard to try to figure out where it came from.
So they're going to do their contact tracing and all that kind of nonsense, but I mean, NFL's been doing a great job so far with COVID, so I don't expect this to slow them down too much.
Nah.
They'll nip it in the bud, and they'll make it work. The Broncos have a new starting quarterback for this upcoming week.
Blake Bortles?
Brett Ripien.
Who is that?
That's a good question.
Did you get him off the street?
He was on our practice squad 2 weeks ago. We moved him up because we were going to make Blake Bortles inactive because we just signed him. He's got to learn the playbook still. So Brett Ripien will be your starting quarterback.
That might be good. Go ahead.
But the Broncos are looking at Drew Lock coming back.
Correct.
Not by this Thursday, obviously, but next week, potentially the week after.
Okay.
So he might start against the Patriots in week 5, but he's most likely to start against the Dolphins week 6. So some quick breaking news for this week.
And then I don't think there's any updates on 99 for the Washington football team, the rookie.
Chase Young.
I
haven't heard anything yet.
He had. Was he groin? I think he had hurt.
Yeah,
his groin. Yeah, so
you gotta make sure he sits on that.
Yeah.
Because your team is I mean they're tied for first in the division, but
crazy
you have to look at how much talent you have on that roster.
Right.
What you guys are actually doing. Don't give yourself false hope. Let your rookie sit for a little bit. Don't get him all injured up his first year.
No reason to. No reason to. But let's dive in, man. Let's move.
Let's do it. We got Thursday night football this week was Dolphins-Jaguars. Dolphins took a surprising big win on this one. I think that it's showing very much that the Jaguars were an anomaly week 1, and they surprisingly put up week 2 when they lost to the Titans. But I think this game against the Dolphins is really who you see the Jaguars being from here on out.
Yeah, and what's funny is I thought the Dolphins, they played abnormally well too.
Sure.
I thought the Jaguars played about on par with what they were supposed to do, and I thought the Dolphins played out of their mind.
Yeah, a little bit.
Fitzmagic was actually Fitzmagic for once, and he actually had a game.
Yeah.
But like we had said, when it seems with Fitzmagic, when there isn't much on the line, that's when he performs. But whenever there's actually a game that matters or means something.
Right.
I don't know, he just doesn't seem to do it.
The combination of giving him prime time, he does like a spotlight, but also against a team that, if you beat them, they're not going to be like, oh, wow, like, great job, Fitzpatrick. Like, no, a guy like Fitzpatrick should be able to mess with the defense like the Jaguars that had close to nobody on it. I mean, I was surprised only because I thought the Jaguars were a little better than this. But like you said, they are starting to play a little bit more how they're supposed to.
So it was
it wasn't a very exciting game either. I tried watching it a little bit.
Not at all.
I couldn't stay up for it.
Yeah, I took a quick nap with that one. Took a quick nap. Come on, man.
All right, so let's move on to the Sunday games. We got Texans Steelers. That was a fight. I feel really bad for the Texans because your first 3 weeks are against the 3 best teams in your conference. Like in the Chiefs week 1, Ravens week 2, Steelers week 3. Like, part of me wants to say like they weren't even given a chance, but also you have to think about, well, what does this mean for them as contenders? They can't beat the top 3 teams in the conference, not even once.
Right.
So like, they say any given Sunday. Those 3 given Sundays, they could not even, like, they were close with the Ravens, they were close with the Steelers. No, I don't think they were close with the Ravens, but they were close with the Steelers.
No, I think they lost this game. I don't think the Steelers won this one. I think the Texans lost this game because they had a commanding lead going into the fourth quarter.
Sure.
And they spit it away.
Yeah.
But you were right though. It doesn't matter whether it's the first 3 games of the year or the last 3 games. When you're playing against potential playoff teams, you have to win. You got to win those games, man.
I would have been pleasantly surprised if they won one of these 3 games. I would have been like, okay, yeah, that's the Texans, and I would have been happy about it. I would have said, as the Texans, if I were a Texans fan, I would say, okay, I'm happy about this. To lose all 3 of those teams, like, you might be able to make the playoffs down the road because your division's like, okay, I guess, but like, what then? You obviously can't beat anyone good.
Yep.
So.
And I feel bad for Deshaun Watson. That dude is running for his life.
His offensive line's not doing anything.
He is running for his life this whole year, so I feel bad for him. I hope he's able to stay healthy. You wanna know what's sad too? Is he's been doing that for years now.
Yep.
Ever since he got in the league, he's never had a good offensive line.
Yep. Steelers winning another close one though. They're one of those teams that are keeping it tight to the end, using their defense to win games. They pulled it out again. So, I mean, can they sustain it?
And that's my question. I'm curious to see if that trend is going to stick around, because that's not something you want to really do consistently.
Yep.
Make it a nail biter every single week. Those are 50-50s at that point. You don't want to play that game.
And it would have been a good game against 2 3-0 teams this upcoming week, but like you said, we don't know if that's going to happen with the Titans this week. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
I would love to watch them play 3-0, 3-0.
That'd be good.
2 good teams, very similar.
And that defense loves to shut down the run.
Exactly. So we'll see if they're headed to do anything on that.
Yep.
This was a Bengals Eagles.
The most spineless.
It was almost like part of me was like, I get it, like the way they were playing in overtime. I was like, yeah, I get it. But then I'm like, no, you guys are both 0-2 teams. Go for a W.
Right? Don't you guys want to win?
Like,
yeah.
The Eagles punting at the end there, that drove me nuts. Like,
what was it? Like
also, they were going for a field goal, and you got some bogus false start. The guy flinched, and I was like, oh god, this guy's gonna be smarter than that.
And then he had a sack.
And it's just like, I don't understand how you. It was like they tried to out-dumb each other at the end of that game. Both coaches were like, how could we? Let's make this a tie.
Honestly, what it felt like to me is who can make the more spineless decision. It was like scared football. Right. It was such a scared decision. It was like, we don't want to give them an opportunity to win. Yeah, but you're also taking away your opportunity to win too. It's like it's like a 4th and 4, 40 seconds left. Why are you not going to go for it? What do you have to lose?
Doug Peterson is the same guy who threw it to Nick Foles
on a 4th and goal.
On a 4th and goal in the Super Bowl. You're telling me you're not going to try and go for the win against the Bengals?
Right.
When you're 0-2? Now you're 0-2-1, and we'll see how that pans out at the end of the year when ties come into things. But the way they're sitting right now, I think that's only going to hurt them.
And that's the thing, too. I'm thinking, you don't see a lot of ties. You see 1 or 2 ties throughout the whole league for a whole season.
Sure.
So if anything, if there's not enough ties, that more or less equals a loss.
Right. So and the only way I can see this panning out in a positive way is if hypothetically, and this is a big hypothetical because I don't know if the Eagles even get there. Say they win 8 games. Say the Cowboys win 8 games. Cowboys are 8-8. Eagles are now 8-7-1, so
right?
the Eagles win the division. So then, yeah, everyone can say, "Oh, good job, Doug Peterson for blah 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 blah." But like at the end of the day, like if you're gonna bank on ties to win your division, like good luck in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Like again, like we're starting to think about these playoff situations now because teams are really starting to show who they are, and the Eagles are not looking great. This is surprisingly bad.
But we kind of expected that. You know, neither of us really had high expectations for them at the start of the season anyway.
I mean, I thought they would at least compete. I didn't think they would be 0-2 and 1.
I've never trusted Carson Wentz. And that dude is I mean, he set 2 picks in the last 3 games. That's bad.
It is bad.
That's bad.
To me, it's surprisingly bad, though, because usually he's a guy who's going to put up MVP-type numbers when he's healthy. But this year, like, for some reason, he's like, okay, I'm healthy now, and I'm going to play like a backup quarterback.
He was healthy pretty much all last year as well, and he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He didn't really do anything. So, you know, was that one good season he had? Was that an anomaly? Who knows? You know, I'll say, let's give him this season, let's see. But as of right now, it's looking like it's that, which is interesting.
Jordan Love, get ready.
Yeah. Jordan Love?
Not Jordan Love.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so all right, this one, 49ers B team JV squad beat the Giants varsity squad 36-9. I really don't think there's anything to say about this.
I'll just say this one thing: they are who we thought they were. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's it. This is like exactly the way you thought it would pan out. And oddly enough, because like, so part of me was like, oh, what if the 49ers JV team is like real bad? Like, what if the Giants are just a little bit better than the Jets? You know, like what if that? Nope. I honestly think when the Jets versus the Giants, it's going to end in a 0-0 tie. Like, it's just like they're both so bad. Oh, and I just like I don't know what
0-0
maybe
tie.
that's me. Obviously, I'm trolling, but like
3-3 tie. 3-3.
It's just like it's so bad. How do you lose 36? And that was the biggest blowout of the week.
Yeah.
And that was a JV team versus varsity team.
Yeah, it's alarming.
Huh?
It's alarming. Hey, those two New York teams, they're gonna have rock paper scissors with Trevor Lawrence into this season.
Trevor is playing in New York next year. So
yes, 100%.
So we'll see what happens.
So pack your cold gear, Trevor.
Okay. Patriots Raiders. Patriots took it 36-20. I was expecting the Raiders to show up a little more than they did. I think I picked the Raiders to win just because, you know, they showed up on Monday Night Football in the spotlight against the Saints. And the Saints are a good football team,
right?
No joke. But the Patriots just showed up more.
Yeah, the Patriots played well. You know, their defense had 1 strip sack, one forced fumble in the end zone for a touchdown.
Yep.
And had an INT as well, I think. Yeah,
that defense is surprising me with how many players they lost this past offseason with COVID and all that. Still being Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung. Imagine how good this defense would be if they had those 2 guys. Right. I wonder if they're kicking themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, they had their own personal situations that they had to make decisions for, but thinking about that is scary. Like,
and then, per usual, you know, the Patriots' way is, you know, they're chameleons. The Patriots are chameleons. It's whatever you're bad at, we're going to be good at that this week. And you can't stop the run. So Michelle, we're on for 120 yards on 10 carries. I think it might have been 17 carries, but Rex Burkhead, go get 3 total touchdowns on 60 yards running and 34 on the ground. Go do your, you know, it's just, the Patriots are so good at whatever you're bad at, we're going to just attack that all game. Stop it. We know we're going to stop it.
Week 1, it was Cam running the ball, pretty much. Week 2, it was Cam passing the ball. And then week 3, it was, let's get those running backs involved. Yep. And then the defense showed up too, and it was great.
Cam only had 162 in the air. That was it. And he had 25 on the ground.
But then next week, he'll have 350 and 4 touchdowns. Like, it's just a matter of, like you said, the Patriots can just be who they want to be because they have a head coach like Bill Belichick who can make it happen.
And I think what's cool too is the players understand that every week is different. That's why we can't have big name stars in New England. Because we have people like Odell. I mean, Julian Edelman as our main receiver. He had 22 yards in the air on two receptions.
He still has not had a touchdown this year.
2 receptions and 4 targets for the whole game. Last week he had 182 yards in the air.
Yep.
That's how it goes. That's how it is. So if you have a big name, if you have a big ego, you're not going to work there.
Exactly. It's about that ego.
You're not going to work there.
Yep. Raiders, I think they might have came into this game a little hot.
A little arrogant. Yep.
A little arrogant.
Yep.
You just beat arguably the best team in the NFC the week before, and it was a good one, and they did a really good job, and it just didn't really show up.
Nope.
You can't put up 20 points against the Patriots and think you're gonna win.
Definitely not.
So, the COVID Bowl, Titans Vikings. Titans squeaked it out, 31-30.
I'm sure the Vikings are kicking themselves in the ass. Again, this is another. Week 3 was a lot of teams spitting away leads and losing the game in a really bad way.
Yeah, and the Vikings defense is not playing to their salary cap. You know what I mean? Like, they have so much talent on that defense. There's no reason they should be giving up 31 points to a Titans team. And they shouldn't be giving up that many points to, the past 2 teams they played.
Right.
They're getting beat, and they're getting beat bad on defense. But the offense was able to keep up this week, but it just wasn't enough.
Which was good. At least something was clicking for the Vikings this week, and like you had said, at least that offense was able to carry some of the load.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that defense, they just let us slip away at the end there.
I think the Vikings are the quote-unquote Texans of the NFC, where the Texans are 0-3. They versus 3 good teams, but the Vikings are also 0-3. They were a great playoff team last year, but then it's like, okay, you're losing to all these good teams. Who can you beat? You know what I mean? Like, if we start throwing bad teams at you, great, you could beat them. That doesn't help you once you get to the if you get to the playoffs, and that's not what
right. And the thing about it is too with the whole NFL, that whole good team, bad team thing is kind of like flukish in a sense, because every team is good in the NFL. It's just some teams are better than the others.
Except for the Jets and Giants.
Right. those are anomalies. We'll let those go on the side. But my thing is like this: the Vikings should have beat the Titans.
Yep.
They should.
In this game, yeah.
They absolutely should have beat them, and they just pissed it away.
Yep.
They just pissed it away. That was it.
For sure.
But congrats to the Titans. 3-0 for the first time since 2008.
Yeah, they're shutting my mouth.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like a lot of people said, the Titans were the fluke team of the year before, just like I did. I said that, you said that.
Yep.
We need to see a little more from Ryan Tannehill, and Ryan Tannehill's showing up. He's one of those, we talk about the Russell Wilson, we talk about Aaron Rodgers, we even talk about Cam Newton. We don't talk about Ryan Tannehill.
No.
And he's showing up every week, putting up numbers, doing his thing, leading his team to wins. Watch out.
Yeah, I'm starting to watch now.
Ryan Tannehill's putting the league on notice.
And I'm really curious to see, what happens when the workload falls on his shoulders.
Sure.
He's so blessed in the sense of, and again, not taking anything away from him.
No.
It was the situation he landed in, but he's so blessed to be able to have a running game that takes so much of the workload, where there's not pressure on him to make big plays all the time.
Sure.
So when he is called to make a big play, he's almost playing with house money. He doesn't need to necessarily hit it because he knows he has that run game to back him up anyway.
Right.
So, and it makes it easy too because they're having to load the box. You have to stop a 6'4", 245-pound man.
Yep.
At running back.
Yep.
That's insane.
For sure.
They're putting 8 in the box. It's almost ice. It's man-on-man coverage over the top there. It's
right.
You have one good throw and your man beats him. Good.
And a lot of it is also the play calling. I give Mike Vrabel credit.
Sure.
He runs the ball 30 times a game.
Mm-hmm.
Your team is gonna load the box.
You have to.
So then when you hit the play action and hit the open receiver, which Tannehill is good at, he's not good at making plays, he's good at taking plays.
Sure.
He's taking what the defense is giving him and he's making it work.
That's how you're successful.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Let's hop to the Cleveland Browns and the Washington football team. Browns took this one 34-20. Football team's defense had a hard time, and I think a lot of that was from losing Chase Young. Granted, you can never put the defense on one guy, but when you have a force like that, he's shown up already as a rookie.
Yeah.
It's gonna lead to games like this.
Yeah, the thing with me that disappointed with Washington is they had a lot of penalties and a lot of really crucial moments,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of encroachments, a lot of false starts,
A lot of dumb penalties.
a lot of shooting yourself in the foot kind of penalties, and kudos to the Browns because they took advantage of that and they are starting to resemble what they've been talked about being as for the past 2 years.
Correct.
Now my question is the Washington football team isn't really something you want to measure yourself to. I want to see you play a really good team, and let me see if you can produce like that.
Nor the Bengals.
Right.
Versus the week before,
Right,
where they also put up 30+ points.
Exactly right.
It's just like, you look at those secondaries, you look at the Washington football team without Chase Young, who you got really, and And, Baker took advantage, which he should have. He's doing what he should be doing. And, good on him for, finally showing up in the games and making plays happen, but can he keep it up? They're 2-1. They lost to the Ravens real bad in week 1. So, on any given Sunday, the Browns could win games, but on any given Sunday, the Browns could also
get demolished.
Right,
which is scary to play by extremes like that.
They got to show they could beat a good team before that they can even be talked about as contenders.
And then you keep putting up points. There's another fun fact. This is the second straight game with 30-plus points since 2010 that Cleveland has provided. They can keep that trend going. You got a chance. If you can hang 30 a game, that's hard to keep up with.
Gotta see what they can do against good defense.
Right, we're gonna see.
This was a great game. I feel like everyone expected it to be. The Buffalo Bills against the LA Rams, 35-32. It was fun to watch.
Oof.
This was probably my favorite game to watch this weekend.
I would agree. I think this was the next one I think was one of my favorites to watch.
Oh my gosh. But, Josh Allen setting records for his franchise.
Yeah.
I think he just passed Jim Kelly for amount of games with 4 touchdowns and 300-plus yards or something like that. 35-32 Bills. The Bills beating a team like the Rams, how hot they were against, they beat 2 fairly good teams. That's big. And this is what we're talking about where we're like, okay, can you beat good teams? Bills just answered the question. Yes, we can.
And I'll say this. They won the game, but it wouldn't have been the way I would have liked them to win the game if I was a Bills fan.
Sure.
Because again, this is another example. The Bills should have lost. They should have lost. If the Rams continued to do what they had done to get them to that 30-point mark, that 29-point mark, the Bills wouldn't have come back. But they started to play prevent defense, and they started giving them a bunch of cheap yards, and then Josh Allen started to get a groove, and then it started to get creative, and now the floodgates open. I've never understood that prevent defense. Why are you gonna go? Why are you gonna walk away from the thing that got you the lead in the first place?
And we're gonna talk about this with the next game.
Keep your foot on the gas.
Teams playing too conservative.
It always bites them in the ass.
Too early is the biggest cause of a comeback. It's not usually because one team is just doing great. It's because you put it in that prevent defense, and then all of a sudden they get a 5-yard pass. Well, now they got a 10-yard pass. Now they got a 15-yard pass, and you're still sitting back 40 yards. So now you're like, okay, well now let's cheat up. Okay, now it's time. Now it's too late.
Right.
Because a quarterback like Josh Allen's going to get hot, and he's going to start finding open receivers. He's going to slinging the ball around the field, hitting Stephon Diggs and hitting all of his guys that he's got now.
And all the while,
he's going to abuse you.
What people don't understand too is, when you play anytime the defense is on the field, they're getting tired. They're using energy. Playing that prevent defense, you stop a touchdown when you keep your defense on the field for longer. They're getting tired. So now, when it comes time to make a big stop, they can't do it because they're exhausted. Because they've been playing prevent defense the whole fourth quarter. I don't get it.
Yep.
I don't get it.
But if Josh Allen can keep beating teams like this,
he's putting up 300-plus pass yards a game.
I'm very excited.
It's ridiculous.
I'm very excited to see this. I don't know if it's this week or I don't know when it is, but I'm excited to see a Bills-Patriots matchup.
Week 5.
This week 5?
Might be week 6, I think.
Okay.
Because I think you had said the Broncos in week 5. So I think it might be week 6.
Well, week 6 I'm looking for.
It's going to be good.
That's going to be very exciting.
It's going to be good.
Coaching like Bill Belichick and a team like the Bills that are just, they're on fire.
And especially 2 teams that don't really like each other.
No.
There's
especially
no
now.
there.
They're going to be the new rivalry in that division. That's going to be great. The Rams, what does there really say? Like you said, they choked it a little late there. Jared, they too conservative on offense, too conservative on defense. Aaron Donald can't get moving on his own when you have. They started rushing less people, and sure he can manhandle as many people as he wants. But like we talked last week, his offensive line is not an offensive line that's going to get bullied by Aaron Donald too.
And that was the thing with kudos to the Bills. They kept Aaron Donald relatively quiet.
Yeah.
He had a couple of big plays. He had, I think, 2 sacks.
Yeah.
Other than that, if you can hold Aaron Donald to 2 sacks, you got a damn chance.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. He can destroy the whole game.
For sure.
So you got to keep him quiet and you got a shot. And that's what the Bills did. That's what they did.
All right, let's hop to the Bears and Falcons. I don't know how Dan Quinn still has a job.
I don't either.
I'm
surprised he didn't get fired already.
They are 0-3. They are not an 0-3 team.
Nope.
They were up 26-9 or something like that. 26-9 or 26-10.
That was last week, right? No.
This
week. I think it was. They were up 13 points.
They were up. Yeah, they were up by some amount of points.
13 points, I believe it was, but.
And the Bears say Trubisky ain't working. Trubisky ain't working. We're 2-0, but now let's dump the QB. Bold, I would say.
Let's bring in swaggy ass Nick Foles with the fogged
big
out
Richard
visor.
Nick Foles.
Got the smoked out visor, looking like a gangster.
And let's throw him in the game, and he puts up like 20 points in the fourth quarter to win the game.
Keep in mind, first drive throwing an interception.
Correct. That is the epitome of bad coaching. You have a good team that's blowing leads in the fourth quarter consistently. This is not like a fluke. This is not like, oh, one guy tripped and gave up a touchdown and then this happened and this that. It's happening every week.
This is a trend. Yep.
Granted, they just got smoked by the Seahawks in week 1, but the past 2 weeks they're doing dumb things that are all coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's week 3, and that's probably why they haven't fired Dan Quinn yet. And he did take him to a Super Bowl, so they had that benefit of the doubt going.
Sure.
But you gotta say enough is enough at some point.
And one thing too, you see it. You can see when a team is playing scared.
Yep.
And the Falcons play scared. Every time they have a lead, they always play scared.
Constantly.
And again, that's coaching. That's not the players. The players do what the coaches tell them to do.
Sure.
If the coaches are instilling them to play scared when they have a lead, just try to hold on and make it to the end, that's what's going to happen. You can't play scared in this league. You got to. When you have somebody on the ground and you're stomping them, you got to keep your foot on the throat. Don't give them any life. Take care of business.
I would rather see them play like a regular game and maybe make a mistake or two, like maybe Matt Ryan throws a pick or they give up a big run while they're trying to get after it, than to just give up like small plays here and like we're talking about small plays here and there, here and there, here and there. Oh my God! All of a sudden they have a touchdown, bam, bam, bam. Now, oh my God! All of a sudden they have a touchdown, and all of a sudden you're losing to the Chicago Bears,
who are still undefeated. How?
So here's my question. We saw Nick Foles play.
Mm-hmm.
He killed it. Other than his first drive where he threw a pick, he was probably just trying to get used to the offense. He hadn't played in a while. I'll benefit of the doubt on that first drive. After that though, he was killing it. He got put up all those numbers in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
That's a lot of numbers in the fourth quarter. How does that change this team? Does this change your opinion? I know it changes mine. Does it change your opinion at all about the Chicago Bears?
It definitely gives me more hope because, like I said, I never had faith in Trubisky and I never will. But I like Foles. Foles shows he can do stuff. Clearly, he just did it. And he just did it. Yeah, just did it. So I like it. I like it.
So do I. You're probably going to have to go back to last week's episode and put a clown mark on my face because I honestly think the Bears are a wild card team now with Nick Foles running.
We'll see. We'll see.
I would be very surprised if this 3-0. And granted, it happens almost every year where someone gets hot in the beginning of the year and then all of a sudden they fall off and go 7-9. Broncos do it all the time. Trust me, I know. But if this team doesn't make a wild card spot, like, I'd be pretty surprised at this point.
Same thing with I would say that about the Falcons.
And that might be overreaction Tuesday or whatever, and the Falcons are just bad.
That's the thing, though.
They're not a bad team.
Right. That's
they're
the
just
thing.
They're a badly coached team.
That's what it seems like. It's that team is very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Very confusing.
Because you watch the first half highlights because we watch NFL Red Zone if we haven't mentioned that already.
Mm-hmm.
And when we watch the first half of the first set of games, which the Falcons usually play in, we're like, wow, the Falcons are really killing it. This is the week they're going to get their win. Blah 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 blah. We tune out for a little bit because we're watching all the other games. Then all of a sudden, Scott Hansen comes up. Shout out to Scott Hansen.
Shout out Scott Hansen. My dog.
Scott Hansen comes up and he's like, oh, by the way, the Falcons blew their lead again. They had a 99% chance of winning, and that's gone. What? And we miss it. Not miss it, but like it passes over because we already assumed the Falcons would win.
It's normal to us at this point.
I'm not picking the Falcons next week.
No, I'm not.
I don't care who they're versus.
Yeah, me either.
They can versus the Jets. I'm probably picking the Jets, but they're not versus the Jets. All right, so now next game we got Panthers Chargers. Panthers took this one. I was a bit surprised. I thought Justin Herbert would get his first win. Panthers showed out though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a defensive game.
And that backup running back, I don't even know his name. 42, I think it was.
I think it was 28.
Was it 28?
Yeah, I don't remember what his name was.
But yeah, he went off, man.
He did.
He went off. He had a field day running the ball. I was impressed. Teddy didn't make any mistakes. He didn't do anything too incredible either. But
Sure.
He didn't make mistakes.
It surprises me, and this is just the nature of the NFL, I suppose. A team like the Chargers could go toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs one week, and then the next week they get beat by a team like the Panthers, who are 0-2. And that's why we kind of have to stop ourselves from overreacting to something sometimes. You know, like the Jaguars week 1,
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. But it was because the Chargers played good defense, and the Panthers played good defense, but the Chargers just couldn't move the ball. Like, they scored as much points as they did against the Bengals, which was 16. They scored 16 points against the Bengals. They scored 16 points against the Panthers. How are you only putting 16 points up against those teams, but you're putting up 23 against the Chiefs, who just, by the way, shut down Lamar Jackson?
That shocked me. That shocked me.
We'll talk about that,
We'll
but like,
there.
it's just like, how do the Chargers go from one week they're great, the next week they're not, and then the week before that they're subpar? Like, I'm still trying to figure out who the Chargers are.
Yeah, me too. And one thing I thought was funny, when I was reading some stats in the game, I just read that the Carolina Panthers, this is their first win since week 9 of 2019. Did you know that?
Yeah, they had a great.
I did not know that.
They had a great start to last year. So they went like 4-1 to start the year, and then like Kyle Allen was killing it. Remember Kyle Allen? He's probably going to start for the Washington football team soon, because Ron Rivera's talking about benching Dwayne Haskins.
Ooh.
But Kyle Allen was killing it. Everyone was talking about how Kyle Allen's the next big thing. He's doing a great job. Blah blah blah. Fell off. They lost like most of their last few games. They went like 7-9 or something like that, and they lost every game after week 9. And it was just like, this team was a playoff team, no, they're not. And now they got a W. I mean, good on them, but like,
see, they can keep it going because again, you know, the
both
Panthers,
these teams, I have no idea who they are.
Yeah, exactly right. I don't know what the identity of the Panthers are either. That was a very weird game, very weird game. But yeah, we're gonna see. I need more time on both those teams because I have no idea. Like you said, no idea what they are, what their strength is, what their weaknesses are. They're very odd teams.
Panthers fought hard against the Raiders, who ended up beating the Saints. The Panthers got beat by the Bucks. It was close-ish, but they still got beat pretty bad. And then they just beat the Chargers. So I don't know where you fall here. They could be a team that comes out later and is like, oh, we found our stride, we made the playoffs. Right. Or it could be a team that's like, we were just kidding about that Chargers game. We're going to lose now. This one is very similar to the 49ers game. It doesn't need much said. Colts 36, Jets 7.
Listen, the Colts aren't that good, and the fact that they hung that many points on the Jets, that says everything you need to say. Jets, good luck in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. Good luck.
Yeah, I like, part of me is like, the Jets, Sam Darnold's not bad. Let's get that out of the way. He is not a bad football player. He is on the worst roster in the NFL.
Agreed.
And that's not even a question.
No.
He's on the worst roster in the NFL.
And it's pretty handled.
It's
not even close.
No, it's not. I feel so bad for Sam Darnold. Because at the end of this year, when the Jets get Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, you're predicting it now, huh?
I'll tell you after this week. But I'm pretty sure if they beat the Broncos, psych, Broncos taking Trevor Lawrence. But if the Broncos beat the Jets this week, the Jets are pretty much probably locked for that first overall pick. Unless they have some crazy few wins against some weird teams like the Chargers or the Panthers.
Look at the Dolphins last year.
That's true. They were pretty bad early, and they came out and won too many games, and then they got to it.
Yeah.
So, when they get another quarterback, let me just say that Sam Darnold is going to get shipped somewhere, and he is going to succeed.
Yep.
He's going to succeed because he's finally going to have an organization, hopefully, that treats him well. Might actually be the Colts because they only signed Philip Rivers to a 1-year deal.
That would actually be a great place for him.
Could be the Broncos as backup quarterback going at it with Drew Lock because Drew Lock's been hurt. It could be. There's a multitude of teams where Sam Darnold could fall, and he could succeed. He could do well. He could do well with the Colts. I think he could do great. I don't know if it's a playoff team, but whatever.
That's a good take, though.
This is a bad team.
Oh, they're terrible.
And the Colts aren't exactly great either.
Nope.
They're not. T.Y. is slumping. Philip Rivers still looks like he's throwing a medicine ball every week. The defense isn't good. The linebacking core is fine, but the defense isn't very good. I don't have anything else to say about this game. It's pretty much expected.
Yeah, I'm good on that. No one needs to be said but that one, I don't think.
Let's touch on Cowboys Seahawks. Seahawks 38-31. This was a tight one.
Yes. Well, let me just say this to start. DK Metcalf, don't do that shit again, bro.
That was so embarrassing, bro.
I'm embarrassed for you, bro. Don't do that no more. That was so stupid, bro.
I'm not even see. I was talking to my brother who's a Cowboys fan, and he was even mad at DK Metcalf. He's like, dude, come on.
It's just dumb. It's
a touchdown. You have a touchdown.
Yep.
And you're just doing dumb stuff. It's almost as bad as Deshaun Jackson, who dove into the end zone, but missed the end zone, and then threw the ball backwards on Monday Night Football. It's like, what are you doing? That's mind-blowing to me. But Russell Wilson is putting up record numbers, literally.
Another 5 touchdowns this week.
He's putting up literal record numbers.
Should have had 6.
He's on pace for, I believe it was 74 touchdowns this season. If he keeps playing the way he's playing, he will have 74 touchdown passes. Blowing the NFL record out of the water by 20 touchdowns.
That will never be I don't think he's going to do that.
No, neither do I. But it's crazy to think that if he keeps this up, that's where he's at.
That would be ridiculous. That's like college numbers.
Right.
I mean, Joe Burrow had, 60-something?
Yeah.
60 touchdowns, and that's a record?
Right.
Yeah. That would be ridiculous.
So, I mean, the Seahawks seem pretty unstoppable right now, on offense at least.
Well, I'll tell you what, Russell Wilson has to put up points, because if he doesn't put up points, that defense can't stop shit. So that they needed every single point to win that game.
Yeah.
There was not a single point that they scored they didn't need. They needed every single point to beat the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, listen, who's 54? The guy with the dreads who got broken off recently for the Cowboys. Well, he's stealing from them, bro. He's stealing from the Cowboys. That dude hasn't done anything for them. Nothing. It's that whole. Bro, where was Amari Cooper? He was out for 40% of the snaps.
I'm pretty sure he got knocked up a little bit. He got knocked out a little bit. He got hurt pretty early on, I think. But even then, you got a guy like Michael Gallup. You got a guy like C.D. Lamb.
Right.
It's not an offense to sneeze at. They obviously got Zeke. They had a good offensive line. Dak Prescott's he's an above average quarterback.
My thing is this though, Amari Cooper, he's making $20 million this year to do nothing.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything.
And it's one of those things.
It's alarming. It's shocking.
It's one of those things where he's one of those receivers that's a part of the team that's not going that way. You know what I mean? They're not. I don't want to compare them to the Patriots, but in that same similar way, where they're not really targeting anyone specifically, they're not going after anyone specifically, but they are.
But you know, I think
they are just trying to throw the ball around.
I think what Dallas that separates the Dallas and the Cowboys and the Patriots is the fact that Dallas doesn't know who they are. For 2 years now, they've been battling. Do we run the ball first, or do we throw the ball first? Do we run the ball first, or do we throw the ball
They're
first?
jumping around because they're still trying to figure it out.
The Patriots know exactly what they're trying to do. They just change it. So the thing with Dallas is they need to freaking sit down and figure out what is our identity. Do we run first, or do we pass first?
They got to shore up that defense.
Because every single time, every week they go into a game and they don't know what they're going to lean on, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You got to be able to fall back on something. And it's like if I don't know what my role is when I'm at work, how can I perform my job? It just doesn't make sense.
Part of me wants to say, that defense has to show up more.
Absolutely. They need to sign Earl Thomas.
They should.
They should.
But the Seahawks have put up 30 points every game.
Yes. Over 30 plus. Not just 30. 30 plus.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Russell Wilson has an NFL record 14 touchdowns in 3 weeks.
It's stupid.
That's an NFL record.
Yeah.
Watch out. Let's go to Broncos Bucks. Again, not much to say about this game. Jeff Driscoll was abysmal.
Thank you, Jeff Driscoll, for the W, buddy.
He got benched, I believe, in the third quarter for Brett Ripien, who is a practice squad quarterback.
So he played.
He did play a little bit.
Gotcha.
The Broncos pulled up after Drew Lock got hurt. Broncos lost Jarrell Casey. NFL stat came out today that the Broncos have the most players on IR, the highest cap number on IR by $20 million.
Yikes.
So someone got the injury bug. You might want to check that building. But the injury bug is there.
Oh, yeah.
Almost every position got hit. Our right tackle got hit, quarterback, obviously, running back, receiver, corner, defensive tackle, outside linebacker, middle linebacker. The only place that wasn't hit was our safeties, but the safeties can't really do much when the corners can't cover because you got a bunch of young guys, and there's no heart of that defense.
Nope.
If Drew Lock can come back and kind of put up a few numbers and stuff like that, that'll stop us from getting Trevor. But if Drew Lock comes back and might re-injure himself, if Blake Bortles comes in and is still Blake Bortles, and
it's a tricky situation.
It is
very tricky.
And part of me thinks to scrap the whole season. Like, it's not. Don't. And by saying that, I mean don't rush any young guys back from injury.
Sure, no reason to.
Just hang out.
Rush them back for what?
Right. That's what I mean.
Right.
It's just not worth it.
And I told you, watch out for the Bucks. They're starting to figure it out.
So I was watching some highlights of this game, and Tom Brady really started hitting his good receivers. He hit Chris Godwin a lot. He hit Mike Evans on a fade in the end zone. He hit O.J. Howard for a big gain early in there. He even tried to hit Gronk on a deep pass, just missed it by a little bit. So and then you get 28 points from that. What a concept! You're not throwing to your seventh receiving option.
Right.
Bruce Arians needs to get out of his own way and needs to stop making comments like, "Oh, well, we sign tight ends to block. We don't sign tight ends to throw to."
Yeah, that was interesting.
Like,
that was very.
And why are you signing three of the best receiving tight ends in the league? Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, and Gronk. Like, go sign another offensive lineman and make him lose weight. Like,
exactly.
Don't sign three great receiving tight ends. And maybe he said that to throw somebody off.
He probably
just playing mind games.
But that was kind of arrogant to say. That was sort of stupid in my opinion. But hey, it's watch out because I think the Buccaneers are really starting to get their identity. I think Tom is really starting to get comfortable now. He has all his weapons now. So
and arguably a scrimmage, I would say, against the Broncos, against a team that barely has anyone who can be considered starting caliber at most positions.
Yep. And honestly, that offense really didn't perform that well. I mean, Mike Evans, I know you got to talk about a fade. I think that play had got called back.
Oh, did it?
Because his actual stat line, 2 receptions, 2 yards, 2 touchdowns. That was his stat line, Mike Evans.
Okay.
I've never heard his stat line that weird before in my whole life.
I mean, hey, but at least you're giving people roles.
Exactly.
All right, Mike Evans, you're the big guy for the end zone. Chris Godwin, you're the guy we're gonna hit, and we need you to hit some rack. O.J. Howard, make sure you're in that seam. We're gonna hit you for some big gains.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald Jones, make sure you're ready to run the rock. Like having those, and 17, you stay on the sideline. Like they gotta make sure that they keep these guys in their roles, and if they do, simplify the offense. They were able to have a simple offense because the Broncos have a simple defense because they have nobody.
Yep.
Right now. So they were able to keep it simple, float around a little bit, play catch. Really is what they did, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The Buccaneers have been lucky so far. They've had two, in all actuality, tune-up games more or less, playing the Panthers and the Broncos. So
Sure.
They need to figure it out quick because their schedule starts to get a little bit tougher in the coming weeks.
Who they got next week?
I have no idea exactly what they have, but I know that they have their second half of the season in particular is not necessarily one of the easiest.
Sure.
So let's see here.
While you pull that up, I'll start talking about the next game we have on the docket. This one annoyed me more than anything. Lions Cardinals.
No, phone dead.
Well, that's no problem. Lions beat the Cardinals 26-23. Kyler did not have a good game. He threw three picks. You can't do that. He did have a highlight reel that's gonna be on Instagram for weeks, where he just double shimmied a guy and made him fall on his face. But how good is that?
Honestly, that move was so weird. Why would you
It was a stutter step.
two-step into the defender and then try to run back? That was so funny to me. That was weird. It was weird.
And he's gonna do stuff like that. Him and Lamar Jackson are two different breeds of quarterback who are gonna run like wide receivers almost, who are a little bit lighter on their feet. But I don't know how you let the Lions take that game from you.
Well, like you said,
turnovers will do it.
Three INTs do the job, and you know the fact that it was even that close with three interceptions it shows a lot about who the Cardinals are. But it also showed that you can't play sloppy because you will get punished by teams like the Lions.
Sure.
Teams like the Lions, and I think
the Lions are not the Jets and Giants.
No, definitely not. And I think the thing with Kyler, I just hope that he doesn't start to get in his own head in terms of trying to run the ball.
Sure.
He's a diet Lamar Jackson. You ain't like that. You're not
sure,
you're not like that.
He's Lamar Jackson but to the less extreme.
Exactly. So it's I have no problem using your legs, but just make sure that that's not your primary option.
Right.
Keep using your arm, keep doing what got you there in the first place, and use it when you need it. That's an escape valve, not a primary source of use.
You got two great wide receivers.
Right.
One who's arguably top 5 in history of the NFL, and Larry Fitzgerald. You got DeAndre Hopkins on the other side, in arguably his prime.
And top 5 receivers in the league right now.
Right. You gotta hit them a little more.
Got to.
You gotta make those plays happen. You gotta make those plays count. Defense can only try and carry you so much. Defense did as well as they possibly could.
Yep.
3 turnovers will kill you. So, Sunday Night Football, Packers, Saints. Not surprised by this one. Saints kept it close, but the Packers took it 37-30.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I was gonna go with Russell. I'm actually gonna go with Aaron Rodgers.
For MVP?
MVP.
Okay.
That dude is having a quiet, ridiculous season.
Yeah.
He's not getting all the limelight like Russell is, or
Sure.
Or what's the dude in Buffalo?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen is, but that dude is putting up numbers and beating good teams along the way.
Yes,
He's beating good teams.
And that's the key. Is he's doing this, but he's not doing it against. Again, he's not doing it against teams like the Falcons,
right,
or the Bengals, or
the
Giants,
like that. Or the Jets,
right?
He's
doing this against the Saints. He did it against the Vikings, who when they played them were, we presumed, a good team. And he's making it look good too.
Yeah.
I wish that defense would play a little better. That's the only part of that team that scares me a little bit, because 30 points is a lot, but it's Drew Brees. That's a good offense.
Sure.
You got a lot of weapons.
Alvin Kamara had a game.
Yes, almost lost me a fantasy week.
Yeah.
But luckily the rest of my team showed up. So.
Jeez, ridiculous. But yeah, it was about what I expected.
Yeah.
I think we both had said that we thought it was going to be a shootout more or less.
Sure.
Going to come down to the wire. And the thing with the Green Bay Packers, similar, I would say, to the Seahawks, is that Aaron Rodgers, similar to Russell Wilson, they're going to have to put up in crazy amounts of numbers.
Yep.
They're going to have to put up points every week because they can't depend on the defense to stop
That's
people.
Right.
They're going to have to outscore the other team's offense.
Yeah.
Not going to have a defense that's going to stop them from scoring.
Sure.
So it's every week they go in. At least it's simple that way. They know, all right, we just need to outscore them.
Right.
They have 28, we need 29.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Just get one more point in the other team and you'll win.
Yep.
So
And this was a crazy one last night. This one surprised me a lot, actually. I know a lot of people probably weren't very surprised, but it got me. Chiefs, Ravens, arguably AFC Championship game.
Yep.
34-20.
Bro,
Chiefs.
The Chiefs are so damn annoying because it's like Patrick Mahomes, he just like does dumb stuff and he never gets punished for it because there's so much talent.
No, he
It's
did
like,
that thing that like kids who just start playing Madden do, where he backed up like 12 yards and then launched it off his back foot and hit a wide open receiver
It's
for
just
a
like
touchdown.
it's just like annoying to watch because it's like that shouldn't be like that's not like
you can't
real
do
life,
that,
right? It's so annoying to watch, but kudos to him. You know, he's extremely talented, and on top of that, he's so spoiled because he has so much offensive talent.
He has two number one receivers, arguably.
And arguably one of the top tight ends in the league.
Top tight end in the league. His third receiver's a 2. And he's got a crazy good rookie running back.
Yep.
And that offensive line's no joke either. Eric Fisher. First number one overall pick to catch a passing touchdown since Keyshawn Johnson.
Really?
Yes, first number one overall pick. Because receivers aren't number one overall picks that much.
Wow.
And neither are running backs, really. But you got an off at the left tackle. Left tackle goes out for a pass.
He tried that
Eric
thing in
Fisher.
too. You know what was funny? He like turned around because he thought Patrick Mahomes was gonna like hit him in the chest, and Patrick Mahomes
Nah,
like
he's
light
up the top.
Yeah, he tried to hit the
Oh,
run.
Oh,
That was funny, but my only other point with this one is Lamar Jackson played like crap. He didn't play very good.
No.
He didn't play like Lamar usually plays.
And Lamar said it. The Chiefs are his kryptonite right
Yep.
now. He's 0-3 against the Chiefs. He's got to figure that out because you're gonna like this is Colts Patriots.
Yep.
From the early 2000s. Like, this is it. It's Chiefs Ravens. Like, you're gonna be playing this team a lot in the playoffs. You're gonna be playing them every single regular season because you guys have the same, record and all. Like, you guys are always at the top of your division and all that kind of stuff. You're gonna play this team a lot.
Yep.
You gotta get better at bursting whatever defense that is. You gotta get better with catching up with Patrick Mahomes. Because Patrick Mahomes, when he sees this matchup, he circles it on his calendar and he says, "I'm gonna throw 5 touchdown passes this game," and then he does.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm curious to see what it looks like in the future between those two teams because, like you had said, that's gonna be a future matchup to look out for. So.
All right, so let's go superlatives. What is the biggest blown lead of this week?
So, my initial instinct is to always, of course, go with the Falcons because
They blew it.
they blew it. But I'm actually going with the Rams
Okay.
just because that would have been a really big win for them.
Yeah.
And their expectations are high.
Mhm.
So for them to lose like that
Yeah.
to a good Bills team like that, and to really lose the game to them, really give the game away,
Mhm.
I would say that's my biggest one is the Rams. Yeah.
I'm gonna actually go with the Falcons. I think it's the consistency of it. You can't consistently keep blowing leads like that against good teams too. I mean, the Bears. No one wants to say it, but they are a good team at this point. They're 3-0. Like, you don't beat 3 teams in the NFL in a row without being a good team.
Sure.
At least for some of it. So when you are that close to doing it in the fourth quarter and you're up by that much, and they have quarterback change, and you should be like, all right, this is it. Like, let's seal the deal.
capitalize.
And
Exactly.
they didn't do that at all.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with that one. Let's hop to biggest upset.
So for me, biggest upset I would say, I would actually say the Lions. The Lions beating the Cardinals. That one surprised me, to be honest.
that
I was
was a
not
big one.
expecting that. I was not expecting, because everything else, other than that, really didn't surprise me much.
Sure.
Those all really kind of fell in some form or fashion. Actually, or I would say the Bengals and the Eagles tying.
You took mine.
That's what I was going to, actually, I'll go with that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
I mean, obviously the Lions over the Cardinals was crazy.
Technically an upset, per
Right.
se,
But like, Bengals and Eagles tying was like.
and with two spineless decisions there at the end, neither one wanted to take a chance.
It's just, I think the Eagles are too good to be doing it, and the Bengals are too young to be teaching your team, like, hey, it's okay to just
Right.
tie. Like,
Right.
Joe Burrow's a winner.
Right?
He wants to win. And I can't even imagine how angry he was with the play calling and how they were going about doing that overtime. That was just
that
was my
that was alarming.
Let's go to what was the other one you mentioned?
Best 3-0 team.
The best 3-0 team right now. I'm gonna toss up between the Seahawks and the Packers.
I was the same direction. Yep.
I'm gonna go Seahawks though. They seem to be able to just toss the ball up at will and just get touchdowns whenever they want them. Russell Wilson, I mean, granted, I'm sure there's a lot more nuance to it, but Russell Wilson is just, every time he throws the ball deep, you're like, oh, here we go, another touchdown. Like, you never once think like, oh, this is just gonna hit the turf, it's gonna whatever, blah, 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 blah. They should have been up by more than 2 scores against the Cowboys if it weren't for DK Metcalf, being a bonehead. But that is Russell Wilson's stat line. Like, when you have a quarterback who's putting up those kind of numbers, like, I don't know how you can say that's not the best team in the NFL right now. You could make an argument for the Chiefs. Like, they just beat what people thought was the best team in the NFL. But I think you cannot go wrong with Chiefs, Packers, or Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm gonna toss up between all 3.
Yeah,
they all have great quarterback play. I'm actually gonna go with the Chiefs just because that, like I said earlier, that offense is just so dumb to me. Like, it doesn't matter what Mahomes does, it always turns out well. Like, it's just stupid. It doesn't make sense. It defies the laws of what the NFL is supposed to be. Like, it doesn't matter what he does, it always works. It's just ridiculous. Like, he had a triple option with that little speedster. It wasn't Tyreek. Oh, well, it might have been Tyreek Hill running across his face in a shotgun, faked a dive, and then rolled out after Tyreek and then shovel past it with the defensive end right in his face for a touchdown. What? Like, it's just dumb.
Underhand to his fullback.
Underhand, by the way. It didn't even go. He just underhand lobbed it to him. It's just ridiculous. It's a video game for them. Yeah. It's just crazy.
And this leads me to, if the season, God forbid, COVID knocked out the NFL, all teams tomorrow, who's the MVP?
Gotta be Russell. It's gotta be Russell.
Gotta be Russell.
It's gotta be Russell. I think Josh Allen is probably second, to be honest. Just because he's playing so far outside of the norm that he has a lot of notoriety and a lot of eyes on him right now.
Him or Aaron Rodgers.
Him or Aaron. And the only reason why I say Allen over over Rodgers is because this is what we expected out of Aaron Rodgers, and that's why he hasn't won as many MVPs as he has. Because he plays so consistently well all the time that he has to do something out of the ordinary, some extraterrestrial thing to get recognized, which sucks because it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
And that's the reason why Russell's getting talked about, because he's doing stuff that's out of the norm.
To me, it's you got Russell, you have Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen.
Yep. Agreed.
I think, and then you could probably put Josh Allen right there with Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
But I think it's just Russell is putting up.
Huge gap.
He's just so far beyond everybody right now. He would have to have some kind of catastrophic losing streak to not be considered MVP.
Yep.
And I know it's 3 weeks in, and everyone's probably yelling at me, you're overreacting, but like.
That was the question.
Right, like.
That was the question.
It would have to. I think he's gonna set the NFL touchdown record this year.
We'll see.
I think he will. Will it be 74 touchdowns? Probably not.
Probably not.
But I can't imagine him being less than 50 because he has such a leg up on everybody else.
Right.
And he's beating good teams. I don't know how you can not say Russell Wilson.
I'm with you. It's gonna be a hell of a season. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. But alrighty, y'all. That was it for the first part of the Week 3 recap with my man Andrew. Don't forget to check back in on Thursday, where we're gonna go over our Week 4 predictions, and we're gonna go over our win-loss totals for Week 3, where we predicted that. So don't forget to check back in on Thursday. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. And we will see you guys on Thursday, and we'll see you guys on the following Tuesday for our recap of Week 4. Alrighty, y'all. See ya.